Good afternoon, everyone. 4 o'clock straight up on a Wednesday edition of On Q, powered by our good friends over at Three Brooks Bourbon. And of course, get ready with tea, fresh roasted coffee, 20% off your first purchase. BYP20, as always. I'm your host, Rich Quinones. We got an hour plus to play with on this September 3rd, 2025. Hope everyone had a good Sports Tuesday as we inch closer to the NFL season kickoff 2025 tomorrow night. Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles are laying a large number, 7.5. Tomorrow we will do an extended edition of On Cue. Lloyd Vance will join us. We're also going to be recording BYP, and that'll go to air as well on TV 48 in New York. So you can catch that every Sunday. That'll be every Sunday at 11 o'clock. So Costco is going to join us in about 10 to 15. We'll talk a little college football with him. Speaking of which, by the way, college football, my goodness, not only did we talk a little bit about Arch Manning, but what the hell happened to UNC and Belichick the other night? I mean, I'm still of the belief, no matter what, I'm still of the belief that Belichick's going to be one and done. I believe he's going to be one and done. I don't think this is going to last. I think this is a recipe for disaster. He looked like a guy, if you've ever kind of seen anyone, maybe your friends turn around at times and they're looking around and they've got this look on their face like, how in the world did we ever get here? How in the world did I ever get here? That's exactly what I saw from Belichick. I mean, it was just a disgrace, a debacle. Yeah, they scored the first 7. Then all of a sudden, TCU rips off 41. What was it, 48-14? Their offense, UNC's offense, absolutely stinks. They can't score a lick. It was an embarrassing loss by the hoodie and Bill Belichick. So we'll dive into that with Costco. And then you have this story coming out with Kawhi Leonard, which is really remarkable when you think about it. And the stuff, I guess you can say, or the crap that people can get away with. I mean, this is just amazing. I don't know if you saw this story, but apparently, and Pablo Torre, who does a really good job with his podcast, Pablo Torre finds out, used to be with ESPN, obviously, investigative reporter, content creator. He was diving into this, and he was explaining and he reported that the Clippers skirted the NBA salary cap with Kawhi Leonard payment, basically giving him a job to skirt the cap, a no-show job. So this is the Clippers team owner, Steve Ballmer, basically giving this guy a fraudulent or fake job. That's it. It's a no-show job. Here you go. Here's a couple $1 million. You don't even have to worry about showing up. And remember now, so Leonard agreed to a 4-year, $28 million endorsement deal in April 2022 through his then LLC, KL2 Aspire, which again, that endorsement deal is 9 months after he signs that 4-year, $176 million contract. I mean, this guy had one play, Toronto, in the second round against Philadelphia 76ers. Sure, he won with Toronto. Other than that, this guy's been a no-show his entire career when you're talking about games played. But he's been able to skirt the issue and still get paid. So this deal comes right around 9 months after that. The minimum allowed at the time under the NBA's collective bargaining agreement. When you think about this for a moment, so that deal between him, Aspiration KL2, would be voided if Leonard left the Clippers. Hence, he didn't. Hence, no show. So again, you don't even have to worry about showing up. It's just a wink-wink kind of deal. And the NBA did not respond at all. They haven't made any type of statement. This is a really, really bad look. It really is by Kawhi Leonard. It's a bad look by the LA Clippers. It's a bad look by their team owner. And again, I say it in tongue in cheek. You're talking about a player that, think about all these games that he's missed throughout the course of his career. Right? This guy's always hurt. This guy's always missing games. It's not like it was. He had that one great run with Toronto back in 2018, 2019. But the fact that they were able to skirt the issue and kind of circumvent the situation is appalling. It really is. And you got to wonder if someone's going to, step in. And listen, I don't know if it, I don't know if you can legit circumvent the salary cap, to be honest, but they tried it, or they're skirting the issue, and I don't know. I saw Mark Cuban kind of tweeted in that they got scammed by Aspiration along with others. Scammers do scammy things. 300 million sponsorship deal with the Clippers in 2021. That's a huge deal. The better the team does, the more value the sponsorship has. It actually makes perfect sense that if they stole money from investors and want the Clippers to succeed, why not give stolen money to keep their best player? Now, again, he's kind of calling out Pablo Torre in that regard. So, again, you have to, you'll see owners come out and defend other owners, and then Pablo Torre should do or continue to do his due diligence. But the story kind of reeks. You're talking about a $28 million no-show deal, and that pretty much it does to some extent kind of rock what the NBA stands for when it comes to the cap rules. It's a really bad look if this is legit, if this is true, period. So I'll dive into that as the show goes on, and obviously a little more later on in the week. You got the Jets with a massive blow today. I mean, the season doesn't even start. The season doesn't even start, and the Jets can't even get out of their own way, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. They fear that Elijah Vera Tucker will miss the season, and he is an outstanding starting right guard. It looks like the mothership is reporting that he suffered a season-ending torn triceps during practice. Listen, this is just a guy that's missed time, man. He can't stay healthy. He missed time back in 2022. He's had some issues with his triceps, his biceps. The Jets looked at this kid as, you're our best offensive lineman, and you make that transition now. You move around that rookie right tackle as well. Final year of his rookie contract. He's a first-round draft pick back in 2021, and that's unfortunate. You're talking about a guy that's supposed to anchor that line for Justin Fields. That is a blow. So now you're going to shuffle around in preparation for Pittsburgh on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. So that's a tough blow early on for the Jets. And as I mentioned, NFL tomorrow night kicks off. Sirianni already came out, head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. They're not going to watch the banners get raised, and it's just whatever. At this point, who the hell cares? Apparently there was enough time to celebrate this, that, the other thing, and they're doing all the things that we used to get annoyed with that the Patriots did, because it was always the Patriot way. And the Patriots, even when they won, it was, we're going to be back. We're back in the gym tomorrow, right? We're going to be back in the gym tomorrow. We're going to be looking at film tomorrow. There's no days off. The Eagles are kind of teetering on that obnoxious arrogance. But when you win, and you win in decisive fashion, you can get away with that. You can get away with that. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, they did not even, that Super Bowl wasn't even close. So like I said, everyone's going to have their thoughts on how, well, listen, hey, the raising of the banner, obviously it's for the fans. But if you're a player, I don't know. I mean, you know what a banner is, right? I mean, it's, are you gonna chance to listen? The players want to see that. That's something special. And he turned around and said, the players, the team will not be on the field when the Eagles unveil their new Super Bowl banner. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that or not, to be quite honest with you. I mean, if you say it and then you go in the field, you're going to look like like a jackass. What else is new with this guy? But I mean, is it a motivation tactic? Is it to drown out the noise? If I'm a player, I want to be out there. I want to see it get raised, because that's everything that I've worked for, right? We talk about having the ring, but the fact that I've worked for it and I want to see it, why are you going to keep that away from me? Why are you not going to allow me to enjoy that moment? So again, I don't know if it's a motivational tactic. I really don't. And quite frankly, I don't really care. Season starts tomorrow night. They're laying 7.5. They should hammer the Dallas Cowboys. We'll do a full NFL preview tomorrow on Friday. We're going to see if we can track down our good friend James Hasty. former defensive back for the Jets and Kansas City. Brandon Jacobs should be joining us on Friday as well. Nick Ferguson used to play in the NFL for Denver and the Jets. He might be popping on as well on Friday's show. So we got a lot of NFL to get into. As I mentioned, it's a Woosah Wednesday. We'll read off some of the comments coming in on the other side as well. We'll take a quick time out. We'll switch gears. We will kind of put a bow on what transpired with that debacle in UNC. I mean, think about this. Let me go on the sidelines, get my ass handed to me, and then have my 23, 24-year-old girlfriend making phone calls on the sidelines. I mean, it just cannot get any worse for Belichick. So we got Costco on the other side. We'll rip through some of these games as well. We'll give you some of the money lines, some of the point spreads. And also, we'll dive into that from a gambling standpoint. That'll be our BYP segment brought to you by our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee. 20% off Fresh Roasted Coffee. BYP20 in the show notes. Keep it locked in. Quick time out. We'll come back on the other side. A couple minutes past 4 o'clock hour on a Wednesday edition of On Q. Don't forget, we're on SR 1029. That's on demand, the X channel, the YouTube channel, at Rich Q on Q. And starting this weekend, Back Your Play will be on TV 48 WON in New York. You'll catch that every Sunday from 11 to 12. And then, of course, you get the pregame. I was very, very distraught. A couple things. So Red Zone's going to go with commercials as we welcome in our good friend Nick Costco from On3 Sports. And then I saw that eStream is no more. Now, do you know what eStream is? Top Streams, eStreams. I mean, it's where
Streamies.
get every game, everything.
They had everything, but there's also aren't there other things called crack streams and I think it was meth streams or something?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, come on, we've all done it a time or two, but yeah, I did see they cracked down on that, and I would say that was definitely the biggest news of since Monday when Bill Belichick got shellacked.
Well, and speaking of which, and again, give Nick a follow at Nick Costco 59. As I mentioned, does a great job on 3 Sports, play-by-play, RU Wrestling, of course, Cal Live Sports as well. All right. Yeah. Everyone wanted that after they go up 7-0. Here you go. This is TCU in Colorado again, and then 41-7 points later. I mean, they make the quarterback change. The offense was horrible. The defense got ran over. I never really thought. I know we were kind of saying in tongue in cheek, North Carolina, here you go, make it a competitive game. But man, I'll tell you, that game was not even remotely competitive, wasn't even remotely close. And I actually talked a little bit about this yesterday, Nick. When you've got a head coach of Bill Belichick's caliber, and then you stick him on a sideline coaching young kids as opposed to grown men, you got so many different personalities. A kid gets pissed off with his girlfriend, and all of a sudden, he's not into it mentally. They're 18, 19, 20-year-olds kid. You talk about all the transfer, the portal, the NIL deals, all the fanfare. And they basically came out and just absolutely got taken to the woodshed and laid an egg. I mean, is this basically a prelude of things to come in your estimation with Carolina this season?
I choose not to believe that, only because I still think he's a smart enough coach and a good enough coach to salvage with whatever is going to go on this season. I know everyone's going to point at the 70 new players, the roster's not gelling, the offense looked putrid outside of the first drive, which definitely had a lot of adrenaline reasoning as to why it happened. And then, frankly, Q, based on just looking at the landscape of that game, I think I finally tuned in midway through the second quarter. They're only down by 2 scores. I'm like, oh, a little bit of a hole. Then it just kind of unraveled from there. And I'm watching Gio Lopez play quarterback, and nothing against the kid. Never met him. I know he was productive at South Alabama, but this is the guy that won this quarterback competition over a veteran and Max Johnson, who, again, I know it was garbage time and TCU was probably not going full throttle on defense, but the difference in the offense actually moving was astounding. But Gio Lopez couldn't. I think ESPN had a timer where it was he did not complete a pass for like 2 hours of real time since the first drive, which was absolutely insane. So when I look at what is to come with North Carolina, we talked about this before, where brand new team. If you put a brand new team out there with zero expectations against an easy schedule, which a quote unquote easy schedule, I think you and I came to the summary of maybe this team is going to win between 4 and 7 games. Big range, but I said, you know what, I'm going to be a little conservative, but maybe give them a little extra credit, which is I think they're going to finish 6-6. I said that a couple weeks ago. I'm not going to go off that. I'm not going to change that prediction off of just one game, but it was no doubt a shellacking. And I think they have some tough decisions to make. Now, granted, they play Charlotte this week, so whether Gio Lopez starts a quarterback, and Bill was obviously non-committal about changing quarterbacks when he was asked about it, because, again, Max Johnson is a sixth-year guy having experience at LSU and Texas A&M. He certainly looked better at quarterback for North Carolina on Monday for whatever that's worth in the time that he came into the game. So if they can't beat Charlotte, then it's time to pull the plug and say, oh, this is an absolute disaster, and then we don't know how it's going to end up for the rest of the year. But I think if you see them come out and just wax Charlotte, and then I think people will calm down for a little bit. It's like, okay, we got our bearings, and then we'll evaluate at the season mark. But yeah, that was obviously not the best showing, to say the least, for Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels.
Yeah, and listen, everyone's they're debating if the media is being too critical, overly critical. I mean, it is what it is. It's Bill Belichick. It's kind of like we were talking a little bit about the height with Arch Manning. The kid just didn't play well. I mean, that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, there's really no other
team didn't play well. They came out flat and unprepared. It was kind of fascinating to see the offense. I mean, we're kind of used to, in Belichick's down years, the offense not being good when he was with the Patriots at the end of the career, but the defense was atrocious. I
think he gave up 48 points once in his career.
Right, and they couldn't tackle. They couldn't tackle, and it seemed like even when they were still within striking distance of like, all right, it's a 2-score game, or it's like that small 3-score lead. It's like, okay, you need one stop, one score, you're back in the game. TCU was getting it looked like 9 yards every play, and every pass play was
ripping
pass
off
plays over the middle, and it was just like they're just picking off soft spots in coverage. And I'm not here to say I broke down the film for Monday night, but I turned it off after a couple drives. I'm like, this is over. Well, especially after that scoop and score, I'm like, geez, this is completely over. And let's just chalk it up to next week.
Yeah. And listen, they still have some winnable games, and again, it's a long season.
And if it's any indication, Rich, this was the culmination of me taking a bath this week on my picks from last week.
Wow, we're gonna get in that because you were ripping. I got killed for you ripping the kid from Florida State, and it wasn't me; it was you ripping the kid from Florida State. And everyone told me I needed to man up, and that kid lit it up.
I am, and we'll go right there. So 1-5, no good. I was completely wrong about that Alabama Florida State game, and I think a lot of people were actually wrong about that, just because they were just like, well, this kid, the amount of crap he's going to talk leading up to this game is like, there's no way this is going to pay off. And sure enough, Tommy Castellanos made me and probably 1,000 other people eat their words multiple times over the course of that weekend. I didn't see that coming at all. The fact that he played relative now again, he wasn't a world beater on offense in terms of throwing the football, but he made plays with his legs. Didn't have to do too much after that. And I'm not going to pull off an AJ McCarron here, where McCarron's going to openly criticize the kid for doing what he had to do to win the game. Alabama was completely outclassed in all phases of the game right there. And I told you I hate taking big road favorites, so I should have just taken Florida State out of sheer principle, and I didn't do that. So and they ended up winning the game outright. That highlighted it. And funny enough, with some of the other games that I lost last week, Clemson didn't. Clemson lost to LSU. North Carolina obviously got shellacked, and then Notre Dame lost a close one to Miami. But those were favorites, obviously, except for North Carolina. Funny enough, and again, I picked Texas, by the way, too, which I think a lot of people did as well, but that didn't work out in my favor. Funny enough, the one game I won, Georgia Tech over Colorado, so I think I can cash my Georgia Tech paycheck this week. But
Vince says, "Come on, guys! First rule of Fight Club: don't talk about Fight Club." Everyone knows about all those streams out there. Come on, it's. I mean, it's trending on X right now with the top streams and the Stream East and the Stream West and the Stream Yard and all this other nonsense.
Well, I sure as hell won't want to use one of the other meth streams or crackhead streams for.
Yes, you might want to steer clear of that.
To watch any more college football than I already watched this
right.
week, where I lost 5 of my 6 picks this week, but I digress.
which was not good. All right, so we got a couple games we want to kind of break down. These are what we're looking at: Iowa State, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Michigan, Oklahoma, Illinois, Duke, Baylor, and SMU.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we'll start with Iowa State. Nice start to the
Yeah.
season, right in Ireland, a big win over Kansas State. But they haven't won an game since 2011. But I like what I saw from both sides of the ball, offense, defense. They flew around, they made some plays. I'm actually seeing this line right now at plus 2.5. I saw it as low as two. Money line for Iowa plus 18. So you get a little juice to the positive, and the total is 41.5. To
Hmm.
me, I look at one player, I look at the quarterback from Iowa State, and we're talking about a kid like from Florida State coming in with a little swagger. This kid's got a little swagger as well. He showed command of the Iowa State offense, decision making, smart. So I think that's going to be my kind of key in this one.
Hmm.
I mean, look, it's a low line. We already talk about trying to win in tough spots, but I think I'm a little more partial with Iowa State. My guy Hank Poteet, so I'm going to ride with Iowa State in this one.
Yeah, me too. I have the -3. They're at home. I think they're just rolling right now. They're a top 20 team for a reason. They had that huge win over Kansas State, as you alluded to before, in Ireland a couple weeks ago. They come off everyone's playing cupcakes these days. And I'm looking at Iowa now. Granted, it's hard to take much out of a game where they play Albany at home. Again,
Correct.
nothing against Albany,
Correct.
but a 34-7 win. They didn't ask the new quarterback Mark Gronowski to do much. The transfer from South Dakota State. He was only 8 of 15, 44 yards and a touchdown. And again, Hank Brown, the backup quarterback, when he came in after they built a substantial lead, he only threw one pass too. So am I going to trust the Iowa passing game over Iowa State's passing game? No, I'm not going to do that. Now, the difference is that both these teams, when they play each other, whether it's in Iowa City or Ames, as Iowa State is the host this week, this game is always close. You generally hit the under in a lot of these games because all of a sudden it's some wacky game where there's a blocked field goal, there's like 4 turnovers, and there's like one great
Remember a
pass.
couple
Like, oh
years
my God.
ago, they scored like 7 points total.
I forget what year it was, but yeah, I do remember, vaguely off the top of my head. You're just gonna get these weird games between these two rivals in the Cyhawk game. I do got to watch out for Xavier Williams for Iowa. He had 100 or over 120 yards last week, had a touchdown, so that'll be key for Iowa State to stop him. But I just think just playing at home, low scoring game, but I think Rocco Becht is going to be the difference. And now it's nothing against Gronowski's. He was good before he transferred to Iowa, and everyone was like, okay, the Hawkeyes finally have a guy who can sling it a little bit compared to most of the quarterbacks they've had over the last 20 years under Kirk Ferentz. But I just think the Rocco Becht factor, Iowa State's on a roll right now. They're out to prove that, hey, the Big 12 is going to end up going through us. We beat Kansas State. Everyone's high on Utah again, but it's like, hey, we were in that Big 12 championship game last year. We have a lot of pieces back, and I think Matt Campbell is ready to make a statement. If they're 3-0 with a Cyhawk victory, Q, I think a lot of people are going to be back on that Iowa State train to make the college football playoff.
Kentucky getting 10 against Ole Miss. Wildcats, a very tough schedule as it stands. They
Yeah.
have 6 games against top 20 foes, 4 straight contests. They could, listen, you got to win here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you got to win over East Michigan before we see how it plays out against South Carolina. But even looking ahead, right? South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee. They got Florida after Auburn. Listen, Louisville to close out the season. These are not going to be they're going to be really extremely hard games. It was a ugly game, low scoring game against Toledo. They put up 24 in that one. I mean, 10. We talk about some of these early season lines in college football. I'm more inclined to kind of play the total in this one as opposed to the number. It's sitting at 50.5.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is that game where I think I'm kind of taking a chance on Kentucky right here because everyone had Mark Stoops on the hot seat coming into this season, considering his 4-8 season last year. He's been there for a long time, but it's like, what do you really want with Mark Stoops here if you're a Kentucky football in the SEC? You're a basketball school, one. Let's go off on a small tangent here. You're a basketball school, one, and two. Have you already peaked under Mark Stoops at Kentucky? Like is 9-10 wins your maximum? Maybe you sniff the end of the playoff in this day and age when it's 12 teams, or maybe when it gets to 14 or 16 in a couple of years. So, what are you really getting at here? But to your point about that game against Toledo last week, it was an ugly one. Zach Calzada, can't believe he's still playing college football. I feel like we were talking about him 5 years ago. Didn't play well, less than 100 yards passing, interception. They really went to the run game last week, over 200 yards on the ground between 3 guys, which included Calzada a little bit, but guys like Dante Dowdle and Seth McGowan are going to help this offense run. I think if they could play keep away Q, and I know it's Ole Miss, and Austin Simmons looked really good last week, and I think Lane Kiffin will get more credit again for finding another good quarterback, and they're going to have a very explosive offense. But there's always those couple games every year where whether it's at home or on the road, Lane Kiffin always trips up against an SEC opponent,
Yep. Yep.
like a Kentucky, where it's like you're supposed to win this game and really have no trouble. But I feel like at home dog, if you're Kentucky, 10 points, double digits. That's a little bit more attractive to me, so that's why I picked this one. Now I can't pick them to win the game outright, but I have a funny feeling that Kentucky is going to make this one a little uglier than anticipated, make it a little bit closer, too close for comfort, I'd say, for Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. So I'll take Kentucky plus 10 here. Taking a bit of a chance, but I think they can make this one ugly and make it a very interesting Saturday in the SEC.
Michigan getting points, plus 5.5 at Oklahoma. And again, that's another team, couple of ranked opponents. Obviously, this being the first, Ohio State, as it stands to close out the regular season. They're coming off a nice little win. Michigan is, right, that new look offense, right? You got that number one recruit in Underwood making his debut at quarterback. The kid Haynes ran for a couple touchdowns as well. You take down New Mexico in the opener. I think, again, though, there's a reason, we're talking about some of these games. It's a different animal now when you step up in competition. So I don't know. I was looking at all these situations, right? Because Oklahoma, by all accounts, the analytics say they're a narrow favorite to win the game, right? Right around 53.5% when you look at how the computer lines it up, which basically means that if you do the math, then Michigan has a 46% chance of winning the game. But
Yeah.
the problem is, you look at where the money is going right now, and I think this is more sentiment favored, and the name, it's actually going towards Michigan.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see if the line moves a little bit. I don't think it will, but this is my look but don't touch game.
It's funny you mentioned that because if the money goes to Michigan, then you might have to start taking Oklahoma here to win a close one outright. But the fact that it's at 5.5 is interesting to me because could I see Oklahoma at home winning this game by a field goal or like
Yep.
one of those 24-20 type of scores or just obviously having Michigan cover? Yeah, I could see that, but this is prior to Sharon Moore's suspension. He's going to coach
Yep.
this game. It's his alma mater. I think he has something to prove right here, considering Michigan wasn't what they were under Jim Harbaugh, especially at the end last year. Again, 7-5, but they beat Ohio State and they beat Alabama, so Sharon Moore got the juice going. And the fact that they have Underwood starting as a true freshman under center, I think people are like, okay, maybe Michigan's going to turn the corner pretty fast and be one of those, maybe be that new third team in the Big Ten instead of Oregon, behind the Ohio States and the Penn States, or maybe just make it a Big Four in the Big Ten this year. And I told you weeks ago that I don't buy the hype with Oklahoma at all. They beat Illinois State last week. Now, granted, if Oklahoma does beat Michigan this week, I do think Michigan's a very talented team across the board. I don't think they're a national title contender. Could they be a sneaky playoff team and get in there? I think they could. So I'm higher on Michigan than I am Oklahoma. So if Oklahoma won this game, being in Norman wouldn't totally shock me, but also it would probably get me to shut up a little bit about Oklahoma. But I just don't buy it. I can't buy into them unless they win this game this coming weekend. And I think with that type of line, it put me off to say, well, Oklahoma has to win by a touchdown this one. Now they can because John Mateer, I would favor John Mateer in the quarterback battle right now because that kid could do everything as a dual threat quarterback. And I made that point known a few weeks ago talking to you that, yeah, like he's the brightest spot on the team this year, but how's it going to stack up when you face a Power 4 team out of conference, then how you can stack up against that SEC schedule since you played the last couple of years at Washington State. So I think things for at least me personally are leaning towards Michigan, and the fact they're getting enough points like that on the road, I'll take Michigan plus 5.5 going to Norman.
All right, Illinois laying 3. We don't have to worry about the hook at Duke. Both teams come in 1-0. Duke, their offense woke up, right? But that's against Elon, 45 points, a different animal in Illinois. They defeat Western Illinois 52-3. Over is teetering right around 49.5. It'll probably close right around 50-51, I think. The one thing about Illinois is they can run the football. Now, granted, they did, you average about 5.5 against Western Illinois. They couldn't do anything offensively. We're talking different animals, apples and oranges right here. This to me, look, I look at Duke and I just don't really see anything that stands out that makes me say, okay, you can look, the quarterback is a nice quarterback. He had a really nice game, but
Yeah.
again, that's against Elon. That the kid threw for close to
Yeah.
400 yards. I think he played really really
He
well, and
did.
they also ran the ball as well. But I just don't see them. I don't believe they can win a shootout in this game, and I think they're going to need at least 28 to 31 points to win this game, and I don't see it happening.
See, I think the opposite now. I am picking Illinois, so I'm gonna
Okay.
contradict myself right here, but I'm picking Illinois -3 on the road, and again, it's they're not a big road favorite, but I think Illinois, this is gonna be the game where they win on the road against a team in the ACC that's probably mid-tier, if not closer to the upper tier of the ACC, just because don't forget, Manny Diaz led this team to 9 wins last year, and if
Yes.
Marion Mensah is as good as advertised as he was in that first game, and granted, Illinois blew out a team that, they showed
Bad.
last week too,
Right.
but Mensah was a much hyped transfer into that program, and the fact that he played that well last week, where you didn't see much wrong with the guy, he threw for almost 400 yards last week. They can win in a shootout, absolutely. I just think Illinois is going to be able to grind it down a little bit more, make it uglier, kind of how I alluded to before with Kentucky. But Luke Altmaier versus Darian Mensah in terms of the quarterback in terms of the quarterback battle, you probably lean Mensah based off one game. Altmaier played well last year, getting Illinois to a really good season, but he was expected to do that this year as well. So, and he didn't have to do much last week as well, going 17 of 21. So I just like the established Illinois team right now. I think they're a little bit more established than Duke is, considering the Big Ten was a little bit more difficult last year. Now, granted, Illinois got away with some things last year, particularly against my Scarlet Knights, but I think Illinois is that people. And I hate to use the general consensus to have for my reasoning right here. I just buy into Illinois a little bit more myself, but the general consensus has been, can Illinois be that playoff dark horse out of the Big Ten?
Hmm.
We're talking about Duke, but it's also Duke would need to win 10, 11 games to be
Yep.
a wild card team or to get to the ACC championship game. I didn't see too many people really high on Duke, and based on what I've read and what we've investigate is the wrong word, but what we've been able to report on Duke and all the stories come out of Duke, it didn't seem like a team that was going to be a 10-11 win team this year.
Right.
So I just by that sheer logic, I have to go Illinois right here, and the line's close enough. That's basically that's almost a pick 'em. I know it's a field goal game, so maybe I can hope for a push. As long as I'm not as bad as last week, but I do like Illinois on the road right here, and I think that'll be the win. That's like, okay, Illinois is that team we really have to watch out for now that we have 2 games to tape as well.
All right. Lastly, we'll get to some comments after our last game. Baylor and SMU. SMU laying 2.5. I like this game because I think the total's going over. I already grabbed it at
Mm,
64. I look at this game as a 40. Well, I don't want 40-26, but 40-27, 40.
mm,
SMU offense to me is too good to stop. I like Jennings, the quarterback. They can run the ball. Again, I know they ran for a buck 40. Um, I think you're talking about Baylor's run defense. They were horrible against Auburn, right?
mm,
What Auburn ran for over 300. I think their quarterback Jackson Arnold. I get it, dual threat accounted for a buck
mm,
37. I think SMU is going to be able to run the football, and I think Baylor's going to have to chase points in this one. I do like Baylor. I'm sorry, I do like SMU. I'm
mm.
fine with 2.5, 3, but I'm also going to take the total. I'm going to go over.
Yeah, total looks good, especially on the over. Both these teams can score a lot. We saw last year with SMU with Kevin Jennings, and you don't want to take too much stock out of a game where SMU,
No.
it's Texas A&M Commerce. You know what I mean. But I think Kevin Jennings is well established here for SMU. I know he threw a pick last week, and Baylor kind of got gashed last week with Jackson Arnold. As far as Jennings is concerned, he can run a little bit, maybe. I guess you'd have to favor Jackson Arnold in terms of a dual threat quarterback over a guy like Kevin Jennings, but SMU, I think that team's more complete. I think this will be a good year for Dave Aranda and Baylor, but the fact that they got gashed last week in the run game against Auburn at home, it's not like they went to Auburn and got blasted in the run game. This was at home, and the fact that they have to play SMU right here, it's on the road. I like SMU a little bit more, and again, it's another small line, kind of like the last game with Illinois. We only have them at BetMGM, in partnership with On3. It's only a 2.5 point game right here. I like that personally. I think SMU is still a team to watch out for in the ACC. I know we kind of were wax poetic about Clemson and Miami, but don't forget about SMU. They made the title game last year within the conference. They could probably do so again. And again, just I like the experience factor of SMU. The fact that they're at home, that line to me, I like it. So I'll just give me a SMU -2.5 here.
Uh, you're a Prime guy, so is Vince. Joey chimes in. Denver media out here taking it easy on Coach Prime, not challenging him on why he didn't take the timeout in the fourth quarter against G Tech. I mentioned it the other day, and all I got was it's because they turned the football over. It had nothing to do with the timeouts. Hey, man, you can't take those into like Monday or Saturday or
Yeah.
Sunday. I mean, to me, listen, you played at the highest level. You're a Hall of Fame player. I can't give you a pass, man. You got to understand down and distance, and you got to understand situational football. And he was absolutely clueless. And if you want to sit there and say, well, that's Shermer's got to relay that to him. No, no, no. That's on the head coach. Sorry.
Yeah. I wrote something off that because he was Deion's claim was that they got out of bounds multiple times. And they were trying to preserve him until they really needed him, but the problem was on the first play of that drive. I mean, you had a minute left, and then you had a 2-yard loss. Second play got off at 51 seconds, and then you didn't stop the clock when you had to. You had a chance to stop the clock and give yourself a chance. But by the time they finally got it rolling, you know,
Right.
they got to midfield with what 2-3 seconds left, and they had to throw a Hail Mary. And don't
Yeah.
forget, there was a play before that where Salter threw it downfield, and again, it might as well have been two Hail Marys, but the first one, which was, I believe there was,
You
let me
got to preserve clock. That's all it is.
right, it was. Oh, okay. So I remember now. I'm reading my own handiwork right here. So they got a first down. The clock is moving. There's 30 plus seconds. They don't get the next playoff until there's 18 seconds left. And on that play, Salter took a shot to the end zone. He almost hit Draylon Miller right in the hands. That was almost a touchdown before the Hail Mary. So it's like that play took off a lot
Yeah.
of time. And by the time you got to run another play, there was only 10 seconds left. You
Yep.
ran essentially one play when there was 30 plus seconds left.
Yeah.
What's so
See,
fun here?
this is the nonsense. Vince did say this. He did say this. I can go and I bookmark the friggin' tape. Don't tell me my business. That's not what I said at all. That's why people hate the media. I said it was horrible. I also said the game was already over. See, Q CNN, get the hell out of here. Q Fox, no, get out of here. That's now you're 100% off. You're wrong because here's the thing. You can't. You guys are trying to hedge it. You keep pushing the goalpost back. You're going to tell me the game was already over? It wasn't.
No, they were down by one score. They had a minute left. And referencing that play, now you have 10 seconds left. You took up a lot of time with, again, Kay and Salter. He saw something. Miller almost had it, obviously. Or, if it was about maybe like a half yard less of oomph on a throw, maybe they complete that touchdown there and they tie the game. They go to overtime. But with that incompletion, there's 10 seconds left. And then the very next play, Salter's forced to scramble. He came back across the field and got out of bounds at the 50-yard line. There's 3 seconds left. Now, all you have is a Hail Mary right there. So
That's right.
you went about not even 30 yards. Maybe it was 30 yards, depending on where the start of the drive. I forget off the top of my head. But you essentially went a third of the field, not even, and you wasted the entire minute. If you have a minute left, if you have a guy like Caden Salter who can make plays with his legs, you got to utilize timeouts because he's going to extend a play when you maybe don't want him to, but it might result in a first down or a big
The
gain.
problem, Nick, is he's doubling down. That's the problem what Sanders is doing. He's doubling down.
Yeah.
And again, you can't. I'm reading right now. First down, we throw a lateral pass, lose 4 or 5 yards. You call timeout there? No, you don't call timeout there. You have to go. You're running tempo, right? The next play, you gain 14.
Just kept rolling.
Come on, man.
It's one game. They were in the game, so I think if
done.
I think you could acknowledge. I mean, don't forget they scored first in the game, and they could not take advantage. I think they forced 3 fumbles, or at least three turnovers in that game. Colorado did. So the defense came to play. And I think there is something there for Colorado. Fantastic comments.
I mean,
but it wasn't over. I can't buy the fact
that
it wasn't over.
That's like people say it wasn't. Stop.
It was a one-score game.
Yeah,
it was a one-score game. If Colorado can, actually take advantage of 3 turnovers next time, or if Deion, has better clock management, they'll be fine. Again, to me, this is still a 6-win team.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a bowl team that you reload for 2026. And again,
now,
it's one game.
They were in it.
Georgia Tech's good. Georgia Tech's good. They're in the game.
I got you for a couple more minutes. I feel like God rest James Earl Jones. This is Q CNN.
This is Q Max at this point. Q's one more time.
So on Friday's show, I said, what was going to be the bigger story?
Mm-hmm.
Belichick, first game, or the performance of Arch Manning. Now, pick your poison on that one. But I do want to ask you this.
Mhm.
Now it's starting to come to light. Look at the level of competition the kid played against high school, and we overvalued him because of the last name Manning. So again, um, you still, if you're going to hype him like that, you still have to make some of the throws. Now, I thought he had nerves. I thought he just couldn't rise to the occasion. The
Mm.
one throw he missed late in the game on first down, but then in second down, the last series, he came back, the second to last series, and it was like an NFL throw. So
Yeah, that was an awesome touchdown
it was
throw.
an unbelievable, like it's two defenders. It was a dime, right? It wasn't
Yeah,
a nickel. It was a dime. It was that's an NFL throw.
yeah.
So is it too much piling on as I close it out with you? Too much on Arch, or is there a reason now we're starting to say, okay, look at his high school film and some of these kids that he played? I mean,
I
the
really
media
think.
hyped him up, did they not?
I mean, yeah, yeah, I think it's the media's own fault. They hyped him up to a degree where it's like, okay, now it's very easy to tear him back down. It's like, oh yeah, I can't believe he got all this hype. Well, you're the same people that hyped him up. Any realistic person would look at Arch Manning and just be like, well, nobody's a Hall of Fame quarterback for their first full college football season, as in like a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Granted, he got more attention and coverage because of the last name. We can't dispute that.
Of
But the
course.
fact, but the fact that people on social media, whether they're actual analysts or just these, these ridiculous engagement farming accounts, are cherry picking cell phone clips of his high school days. You can do that with any of these elite 5-star prospects. They're all the quarterbacks, the defensive linemen. They're always going to be bigger, stronger, faster, and every single. I don't care where you play, even at these elite high schools, you're going to have some kids that are on the field that are going to be small. That were smaller than me in high school. I was a 5'11", 195-pound offensive guard in high school. You're going to have kids that are that size and smaller than me that can't play at the next level. And you're going to have a guy go up against a guy like Archman trying to sack him. He's going to stiff arm you into the turf. He's going to run for a 70-yard touchdown, or he's going to throw for a 60-yard bomb. So let me just throw that out the window right there. As far as what to expect from the rest of the year, he'll be fine. He played arguably the most elite team he's going to play all year. I
Patricia's
expect
defense was on point.
right, and let's not forget they were still in position to win that
They
football
were.
game. So it's like if he could play, if you want to say that he play as bad, like if that's like horrible, if him playing like that against Ohio State is horrible, they lost by 7, and they were at
Yeah.
midfield with a chance to tie the game. He missed one throw that could have went for a huge gain. If it gets a huge gain, maybe they tie the game. Let's not forget they were also on the goal line earlier in that game, and Sarkisian, I think this is where you put the blame on the coach a little bit. We know he's no good at the red zone. He hasn't been good
Yeah.
at red zone offense for as long as I've been covering college football. They basically go Texas tush push on 4th and goal rather than give it off to one of their talented backs or maybe a pop pass, and they don't get in. So there's plenty of blame to go around. I'm not going to overreact about Arch Manning. I'm not going to overreact about Bill Belichick. I think the bigger story is Arch Manning. I think just Belichick is more recent because it was Monday and it's now something to talk about. But and the Arch stuff's in the rearview mirror. I think people are like, oh yeah, Ohio State maybe they had the argument to be the best team in the country before even playing a game this year. So to me, that's the best team Arch is going to see all year, at least as I see it right now. Is he going to be a guy who all of a sudden is now going to throw 35 touchdowns and have 3,500 to 4,000 yards? Maybe not. Is he going to come back next year?
Yeah.
I think this is why people were like, don't assume he's going to the 2026 NFL draft.
That's right.
Seeing people that pegged him as the number 1 overall pick without even playing a full season.
Right. Right. Right.
Those same people are like, I can't believe he got all this media hype. Well, where do you think it came from? He didn't do
You
anything.
guys.
Nothing has come out of Arch Manning's camp that would warrant this type of hype, other than the fact that his last name is Manning. His father was an elite player to a career-ending injury, and he has 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks for uncles. And the fact that he had one of the most exciting quarterbacks as a grandfather,
That's right.
like you know what I mean? Like Arch Manning did absolutely nothing personally to warrant this type of media hype, other than the fact that he's shown elite flashes. He played in 2 games last year, and his last name is Manning.
Yeah.
Other than
That's
that,
right.
he hasn't done anything. And again, I know the high school hype was there, and Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee teams were like that. We're trying to get him, and he ended up going to Texas instead. But other than him being a 5-star recruit and the number 1 kid in his recruiting class, which you could say this about any kid who was the number 1 recruit in his
Right.
recruiting class, like I know it's apples to oranges, but Jadeveon Clowney, greatest high school prospect you'll ever see, and he became a star in college for a productive career, but also one play.
One play when he blew up the that's it.
He's carved out a nice NFL
The
career.
running back. Yeah.
Hall of Famer? No, he's not.
No, not at all. All right, brother. I know I gotta let you get out of here. You gotta go grapple for about 30. What do you got going on?
For about 3. Teach the kids how to do it, then do it myself for the next couple of hours.
Yeah. What do you got going on the rest of the week?
Just posted an interview. That's actually why I'm dressed up this week. No tank top this week. I just put up a nice little podcast, hour-long podcast with New York Times bestselling author Gary Myers, who I know you know very well. So he's coming out with a new book coming out in 2 weeks. Let me make sure I get the title right. Brady versus Belichick, the dynasty debate, due out on the 16th. I already pre-ordered it. Hour-long conversation with him about that book.
Nice.
All his in-depth reporting about the Brady versus Belichick dynamic and who was more responsible for the Patriots dynasty. Great stories about former Jets linebacker Mo Lewis in there as well.
Sure, change the complexion of both franchises.
A lot of great insight about the end of the Belichick Brady era with the Patriots, especially during the initial Trump presidency as well. Some fascinating stuff in there. So I encourage you just go to my YouTube at Nick Costco 59. Nice little interview with for On 3 with author Gary Myers. It's a fascinating conversation.
All right, brother. I always appreciate you. We will definitely check it out. I'm definitely interested to see that. We will do it again next week. Enjoy No Banner Raised that you'll be able to watch tomorrow.
Can't watch the banner get raised. I'll be training tomorrow right up until the banner gets raised.
There you go. That's what we like there. All right, brother. Always appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Rich.
All right, there you have it. Our guy, Nick Costco. Vince is still hammering me on the next episode of QN. We will hear about how he always knew Sam Darnold would lose to a better team in the playoffs. Get out of here. Manning's bloodlines equal NFL quarterback. My bloodline equals NFL, NJ Diner, and Monday morning quarterback. And never wrong. Correct on that one. Yes, Costco, collared shirt, no hoodie today. Definitely had somewhere. He definitely was doing God's work. We know that. Yeah, this is a great comment, by the way. Belichick and the girlfriend on the sidelines during pregame. What the hell are we doing with this? How about the fact that she went in off the field and looked disgusted and then was making calls on her cell phone? It's a circus. It is an absolute circus. I want you to know, too, so the NBA came out with, let me pull the state on this whole Clippers Kawhi Leonard. And please don't tell me that they're skirting these owners are doing this all the time, skirting the issue with stuff. That's crock. Stop. I don't want to hear that kind of nonsense, right? Just stop. But let me get to this comment real quick, and then I'll get to your comments. What did they say? The NBA, they came out, they said something about what the hell is it? I thought they came out and said they were investigating it, and they haven't reached out to anyone yet. NBA is investigating allegations stemming from a Pablo Torre report that the Clippers and Steve Ballmer, third time's a charm, circumvented the league's salary cap by paying Kawhi Leonard for a job with no responsibilities. I mean, hell, isn't that what half the country is right now? To be quite honest with you, the no-show, if you will. Listen, it's very hard to kind of circumvent, but it is also a very bad look. And I saw that solitary Stephen A. made a comment about, how do you get paid all this money to no show? I mean, dude, you do it every friggin' day on TV. So and you get paid handsomely. You really do. Costco Q, please adopt my CSU Rams in the Mountain West for a random team to pull for. I can't do it. I consider it, depending upon what kind of good odds I get. Scott chimes in, Q, how many games can Texas afford to lose to avoid missing the college playoff? You can't lose more than 2. You can't. You can't lose more than 2. I don't know how good this kid's going to be. I really don't. It was a very rough outing for him. But as I mentioned, when you come in with that name and that pedigree, you have to be fair with it. If we're going to overhype you or hype you up, and you have the Manning last name, and everyone has you in their, top pick to be drafted in next April's draft, to go number one in the NFL, to be that franchise altering, franchise changing quarterback. And, we're already basically putting you in the Hall of Fame. And some, it seems like they already are. And you drop back to pass and you can make 5, 6, 7, yard hitches or some screens or some bubble screens or some, quick hitch throws or some slants, and you're very sporadic. Their criticisms warranted. Now, Matt Patricia's defense was on point. They did an excellent job. But as I said to Nick, he misses a wide open throw, right? He misses a wide open throw, and then he comes back and he makes an unbelievable throw. He makes an unbelievable throw, literally in double coverage. I mean, it was unbelievable, right? De facto no show, just like The Sopranos. You're talking about Kawhi, maybe what your Eagles will do this season. Who knows? Sarge chimes in. Q, I'm laughing out loud thinking about Sirianni really telling these cats you can go out there but not celebrate the banner. What a clown. It really is. It's like, dude, you won the friggin' Super Bowl. Like, seriously, let's just talk about this for a moment. You won the Super Bowl. Everyone bought in. Everyone thought going into the previous offseason, myself included, Nick Sirianni was going to get fired. They went on a great run. Hurts played well. Defense played well. Offensive line played well. Saquon had a season for the ages. You rout every team you play in the playoffs. The Rams gave you your best game. You absolutely dismantle, and maybe you've ended the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty. And your quarterback, your much maligned quarterback, is MVP. Your much, is this guy going to stay healthy? Running back is an all-world, all-pro, 2,000-yard rusher. You have the parade. You get the rings. You do the celebratory tour. You should be out there tomorrow night. You really should. You should be out there tomorrow night, and you should be able to celebrate with the fans watching a banner get raised. That's a special moment. Yes, raising the Lombardi is a special moment. Yes, having the parade down Broad and getting the Super Bowl rings, special moments. The camaraderie, being in there with your brothers in arms, your foxhole brothers, your teammates. That's an honor. But man, I'll be damned if I wouldn't want to be out there. This whole, motivational tactic, it let them have their moment. Let them have their moment. And the funny thing is, too, they're playing the Cowboys, and you got friggin' this jackass Schottenheimer taking shots at the Giants. You're not even playing the Giants, Schottenheimer. You're going to play the Philadelphia Eagles, who are laying 7.5. They're probably going to wax you 31-10. Like, get the hell out of here, man. You might not even last half a friggin' season. But if I'm a player, I want to see that banner get raised. I do, and I don't really care. No disrespect to some of these other guys who have been around the block, these old-time broadcasters and covering the Eagles, and they're respecting Sirianni. It's a motivational tactic. That's all it is. That's all that is. It's a motivational tactic, but let them have a moment. Let them have a moment. I just think it's kind of Bush League, but whatever. It's not the end of the day. It really isn't. It's not the end of the day. But again, it would have been nice, right? Late room reading comment. Will you finally back down from Belichick going back to the NFL? Nope, because some team's going to take a shot with him. Some team is going to take a flyer on Belichick. And you can't. What? Hold on a second. What if they would have won that game 35-10? What if they would have won that game 35-10? Did you see the press conference? I mean, it looked like it looked like a, what is that called when you pop the balloon? What is that called? Not the party poppers. You pop the balloon. When the girl's pregnant, what is that? Somebody, one of you guys got to bail me out here, please. I'm friggin' dying over here. To see what the baby's going to be. If it's going to be a boy or a girl. That's what it looked like. You had blue balloons in the background. I mean, are you kidding me? You got balloons in the background. What is that called? Somebody, bail me out. Kevin C, bail me out. Sarge, bail me out. First Lady, bail me out. Vince, thank you. Gender reveal, back in my good graces. Joey, gender reveal. There you go. You say it all the time. What do I say it all the time? Gender reveal? Oh, no shot. The NFL's notorious for avoiding circuses. You say it all the time. I gotcha. Gender reveal. Well, I don't think it. That who's to say he's going to be with this girl, right? In another year or so. Who's to say? The whole thing is just, I think you would make concessions when it comes to Bill Belichick, wouldn't you, though? And the other thing is this, he's not ready for college. It's a different animal. It's the pettiness, the exhaustion, and I can't have my girlfriend on the sidelines with me. That's a no-no. He's cut out to be a pro football head coach. He's cut out to be a NFL head coach, not a college head coach where you're dealing with kids who are coming in mood swings, pissed off constantly. It affects their play, their judgment, everything. He needs to go back to the NFL. He does. It's what I really believe. It's not going to work. And I'll tell you this, I don't know. I don't believe this is hurting his legacy. I think this was his shot to show he still has it. And it's unfortunate because, what if he goes to a college that actually has a decent program or a decent track record of winning, and he wins a couple games and he still shows that he can coach? I don't think he lost it. I don't think he's out there and people are making jokes. He's a senile old man, has no clue what the hell he's doing. I think that's a little too rough. I think that's a little too harsh, to be quite honest with you. I believe he can still coach. He's not in his prime like he once was. I think there's overreactions to this, like there's overreactions to Manning, like we always have overreactions. It was an embarrassing debut. And I'm sure the media is going to be very cautious how they go after him locally, right? Because he's the only thing cooking down there, to be quite honest with you. And you got a $10 million salary, which raised a lot of eyebrows. You had all the nonsense during the summer and the spring and when he was going to technically sign the contract, which raised eyebrows. You had the girlfriend factor banned from the campus, which raised eyebrows. You had a lot of stuff going on, and look, man, it's just, he got woodshed in his college debut. There's really nothing else to say. You feel good for a minute when they score 7-0, and then TCU just ran him off the field. You just ran him off the field. All the buzz, the fanfare, everything. But I still believe the man can coach. Now, maybe I'm naive. And again, maybe I think, yeah, millionaires definitely go to practice in moods, but they're millionaires. They know how to block it out. Young kids don't. You and I both know that. You get a text message from your girl, all of a sudden you're pissed off the rest of the day. You want to skip, seventh period algebra. They're kids. They're immature. Millionaires, you just said it, millionaires. They got to go out and still got to flat out play. And I'm telling you, I don't believe his career in the NFL is done. Maybe I'm just naive. But I'll tell you this. I see some coaches right now in the NFL. Schottenheimer's, this guy's a freaking clown. This guy needs to shut up already. What the hell has he proved in the NFL? And taking strays in my Giants, for no reason whatsoever. Turn around and, being a team like the Giants. Shut the hell up, man. Seriously, shut up. Worry about the Dallas Cowboys before you do anything. You might be friggin' one and done. Don't get your doors blown off tomorrow night. I mean, taking a little subtle shot here, it's unnecessary. It's not warranted. You're making your official head coaching debut against an NFC East rival, the defending Super Bowl champs, to open up the friggin' season on primetime on Thursday on the road. And you're worried about the Giants. You're worried about my little team that's going to win 4 or 5 games. Every game we play in another championship opportunity. You don't get any extra credit for beating the Eagles on primetime. It's the same as beating the Giants at A&T at noon. Really? Play loose and free when you get your asses handed to you 35-6? And then Jerry Jones, there's already going to be conversations, Jerry Jones is pissed off. They're not happy. Couldn't stop the run. Got rid of Micah Parsons. Blah, 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 blah. Belichick to the Cowboys, just watch. Schottenheimer will fail. Belichick is an NFL guy. He's an NFL guy, but as you guys pointed out, is there someone willing to take a shot on him at this point? Gruden to UNC. Gruden's having too much. Gruden is so overrated, but he's having too much fun doing the Barstool stuff. Gruden to the Browns, has his ship sailed on Gruden as a head coach at this point. I think Gruden's been so overrated his entire career. I don't think Belichick would go to the Cowboys with Jerry in control. I think he would go somewhere if he knew he had a shot to break Shula's record. I think it's so important, and we should not understate it. Man20 says, Billy Boy never coaches again in the NFL. Billy. Mm-hmm. Seventh period algebra. What student chose that schedule? I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, what are we doing? Like Greek mythology? You bang that out in second period. I was always of the belief you get those hard classes out of the way early, right? Get those morning classes out of the way. I would have scheduled 8:15, 9, 11, done by 1, 2, whatever. Got practice, do the radio gigs, whatever. I'm good. His knowledge of the game is great, and he probably can still coach, but doesn't have a tarnished feel. I don't know if we can really sit here and say his legacy is tarnished because he might lose 3 or 4 games in college. He wanted to give it that old college try. He wanted to bring a little credibility back to Carolina. I mean, you had a who's who out there the other day, did you not? Right? Jordan, Taylor, Williams, Mia Hamm. It was a who's who all over the place. And they didn't have a very good showing. And it's unfortunate. You can be a great head coach, but you still have to have players. And he's going to find that out pretty fast in college. A little different in the pros, is it not? A little different in the pros. Seventh period should be study hall, shop, or cut class once a week. Yeah. Oh my God, with this Death Star Mike. Death Star Mike is fine. I don't know why you're complaining. No one else is complaining but you, man. It's a friggin' Woosah Wednesday, and you're bitching and complaining about the friggin' Death Star Mike. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Kevin C. chimes in, Q. I saw that picture that you posted with you and J.R. Smith. What's with that layup drink? Ha, ha, ha. I didn't touch that. By the way, shout out Jersey Shore Breaks, TBL, Eagle Oaks Golf Club yesterday. Unbelievable event. We did the pod out there. Course was gorgeous. Rapped with a couple former players. Had Chris Smith and J.R. Smith in the crosshairs. Yeah, they were pushing their layup drink. It's funny too. So I mentioned to I asked JR the difference between the NBA when he played and this NBA, and he basically said the physicality, the referees and whatnot. And I said, I thought you had somewhat of an underrated career. And he kind of checked me and he goes, for where I was drafted and the hype. And he was so genuine with a response coming out saying, I made a lot of mistakes. I was very young. I went to a bad team. I spent a lot of money, ran with the wrong crowd. And then you can tell, these guys get mature. And, he was able to turn around, won a couple of rings, obviously, Cavaliers and then the Lakers. He's a hell of a golfer, by the way. But, it was a fun time. So I'm glad you guys, you enjoyed that. That photo, that post on IG. And no, I did not sip the layup. I was drinking my my coffee. I never really heard of a cannabis drink until yesterday, to be quite honest. I don't know. Maybe it's in my virgin ears. I don't know. You're embarrassing yourself, Q. What are you talking about? There are tons of immature millionaires in the NFL. Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying. Wow. I mean, I got hit with the embarrassing myself, Death Star. Joey took a shot at the hair. Vince is calling me QCNN. I mean, wow. I mean, Shadi has a point, doesn't he, Q? He's good as long as they're better than your team. What is this on a Woosah Wednesday? It means it's friggin' on. That's what it means. The Death Star Mike, when the light is red, it means it's on. I see my levels. You're absolutely fine. You guys are really being. I'm sorry. You're being very disingenuous on this Wednesday. You guys are. You're being extremely disingenuous. I'm trying to bring stuff. See, you can even hear me in the background. See, see, that's me. That's Q. There you go. That's Q. See, I'm trying to bring you good stuff today, and already on a Woosah Wednesday. This is ridiculous. The red light means it's on. That's that's what it means. It's not off. Seriously, you guys, you're starting to push me right now. You're starting. It's a signal to Q that the mic was retired. The light means it's on, you goofballs. Bunch of, you know what? Jackasses. I was thinking the same thing about the millionaire money plays no part in maturity. My point is this. My goodness, let's just grab what I'm saying, pick it up when I lay it down, and just run with it. Put it under the microscope. What I'm saying is, I think at times, yes, they're both immature, but these guys are playing with major money and contracts. Some of these young kids, forget about the transfer portal, the NIL deal. He can handle them a little more easier than, say, he can handle some of these professional players. I think it gets tiring after a while, or I should say the opposite. These guys, pros, might be pain in the asses, but they're playing with money. These kids might just be exhausting if stuff's not going their way. I'm not going to say mark my words. I'm not even going to get to these comments, but I will say I'm confident if it doesn't work out in UNC, there will be a team that will take a shot on Belichick. It's my opinion. I think it would be media gold if you drank a layup before your show. I was drinking coffee yesterday. They had an unbelievable spread, by the way. Oh, the amenities at this place, the memorabilia, the silent auction, it was fantastic. The course was gorgeous. Picture perfect day. But apparently it's got, what is that, THC, TCH? Like it calms you down a little bit. It relaxes you a little bit kind of towards the end of the night. But those guys were popping them like they were Pez, man. Q Canelo or Bud. I will get into that. I'm going to now. Might have a little surprise on Friday's show. Might have a little surprise on Friday's show to talk a little football and a little boxing and bring it down Canelo or Bud. We will definitely get into that. I did not forget. We will definitely get into some boxing, QNN or. These shots are. Yeah, I am. I am getting annoyed. I am, because the red light means it's on. I just played off the YouTube channel. I can play it off X. You guys hear the noise and the sounds. The red light means you're on. Do you not get it? Man. All right, quick timeout. So full disclosure, my quick timeout was because I had a sneeze. Red light, green light. Oh, Squid Game. Can't do that. It's the allergies, man. Unbelievable. What is this? Not steamed up. Annoyed that you guys are mocking the Death Star mic. What happens when the Giants win more than 6 games? The Death Star mic will never go away. We have to also maybe revisit that bet on Friday. We might have to. It's like Squid Game here. You could be game. That's exactly it. Red light, green light. But the red light, we are on, boys. We're on. Period. We're on. I don't know why you guys don't like the microphone. It's the same people that basically, again, you guys are just constantly just bombarding me with the mic. Kevin chimes in. It's not a problem with the microphone. Tom and Summers point, I always like the Death Star mic Q. Joe D says, it's not the mic, it's the host. Go frig yourself, Joe. De facto says, when I win the Powerball tonight, your odds. So here's a question for you. You taking the lump sum after taxes? It's about 364 million. When I win the Powerball tonight, I will send you a new mic courtesy of the bunker. I don't want anything from the bunker. I don't, because the bunker has been nothing but a thorn in my friggin' side. Did Q hit the buffet at the country club? I bet it was a fantastic spread. I did not. I did not. I mean, yes, but it's not like what you were thinking. Like it was really like, I mean, you had prime rib. Oh, the spread was unbelievable. Yeah, I went up there several times. You kidding me? And don't think I didn't go home without a little doggy bag. Come on now. Oh, are you? Oh, I mean, there you go. No, know what? I didn't. So I brought all my stuff. Brought the fruit, yogurt, the whey. Packed my stuff because I got there like 9 in the morning. I left at 7 at night. It was a long day yesterday, but uh, did dabble in little hors d'oeuvres. Right? They were, but see, the thing is, here's the thing: everyone was drinking. A lot of the guys that came, a lot of the golfers, there were all these foursomes, so they were all drinking layup. So you got guys driving around the golf cart. You're thinking, okay, now these rounds are going to go a little more slower. These guys are smoking and joking, as we like to say, right? And now all of a sudden, balls are being shanked, slicing. Some people never shank in bushwood or slice in bushwood, right? You had some guy sitting there on the 18th. Oh, give me the Billy Baroo. Give me the Billy Baroo. I need you right now. So by the time they're off the course, hors d'oeuvres are done. These guys were hungry, man. And I'm telling you, you got players out there, they were just wolfing down this food like there was no tomorrow. The cookie and dessert tray. So I will tell you this, because I have a sweet tooth and I was enjoying a little coffee, a couple of cups of coffee before I left, I did make my way over and I did a little sampling, Joey B. A little bit, you know, like in the scene in Wedding Crashers when he's like, put a little bit there, top you off, a little syrup. I did that. A little sampling. They had these little tiramisus. They had these little rolled up things. They had those different colored coconut cookies, and then they had chocolate chip, double chocolate. I didn't see black and whites. They had cakes, a little bit. Took a plate back for the table. That's what you do. And then rest assured, I took some for the drive. I honestly thought the red light on the mic was that battery was low or something. See, that's unacceptable. Now, what you're doing right now is just constantly breaking balls. That's what that is. Because it craps out consistently. You know what? You know who craps out consistently? You do, man. You crap out consistently. It doesn't crap out consistently. Sometimes I move away, and now you can hear me when I move back. It has nothing to do with the microphone. The Death Star mic stays. It's not going anywhere. I go back, I re-listen to shows when I cut clips. So don't tell me my business. By the way, Back Your Play, WON TV 48 New York. That'll air on Sunday from 11 to 12. Just letting you know. Just letting you guys know. Joey says, nobody passed Q the Great Pond. Layup may cause the munchies. Yeah, it's not static because I'm listening to it right now. And you can laugh all you want. I'm trying to get Layup to be a sponsor. I don't know how that would work, though. I don't think I can do product placement. Let's see. Oh, you know why the crackling? I'm going to tell you why that's crackling, because that's me moving on the table. And I apologize for that. Layup should be a sponsor. It would be great if you had a discount code for that. Cram him out, Laurel would be down too. Yeah, they were very nice yesterday. No, there it goes again. I'm done. I'm signing off in a minute, man. So you can go back and watch freaking show on demand. And I'm done with you. I hope the 49ers win 3 games. I'm absolutely done. On a freaking Woosah Wednesday. Unbelievable. This segment brought to you by Puffs. Yeah, I mean, the allergies are just on. I'm trying to fight through it, man. I'm trying to fight through it. Seriously. I got the allergies. The pollen was horrible. I took my Zylol. I mean, this is just, I don't know what you guys want. I got my fresh roasted that's cold right now. Yeah, I need Puffs cleanups, not not Johnson and Johnson. I need that layup ASAP for my smoking and joking golf sounds. I mean, I'll see if I can get you guys some samples, man. Golf rounds. Q's pissed off at the man. 3 games. Yeah, 3 games. I mean, I got the sniffles, I got the allergies, cold coffee, static with the stuff, and you guys are getting on me with the layup. They had what kind of flavors did they have? They had like lemonade, berry, raspberry, blueberries. Um, yeah, it looked like it was good stuff. Killing more drugs for his allergies than addicts on Kensington. Come on, man. That's yeah. People are gonna think it's like that Seinfeld episode. Are you hip? Oh yeah, I'm hip. Um, it's easy to grin when your ship comes in. But a man worthwhile is a man who can smile when his shorts are too tight at the seam. Okay, Pookie, do the honors. Remember what the ship was called? The SS Wasp. All right, got to start wrapping up. Tomorrow, Lloyd. Oh, we're gonna go heavy on football tomorrow. Heavy on football tomorrow. We will do our predictions. We will give you our divisional winners, playoff participants, some of the win totals. We'll recap, and Angels are doing God's work. Angels on the road, man. I don't know what to tell you. Steph chimes in and Delaware chimes in. Steph, who's in Delaware, chimes in. Kensington, I'm laughing my ass off. Yes, I think the oh my god, I think this the ghost of Gabriella trying to get back in the show. She misses the ad revenue. Yeah, well, you know, everyone needs a mom like Gabriella. Finally, with the Q predictions, yes, it's going to come tomorrow on a Thursday, and then we'll have a good football Friday show. Maybe a special guest or two. Talk a little football Friday, and we'll do the picks as well. We'll give you the plays, and as always, keep it locked into on Q. All right, you goofballs, got to start wrapping it up. Oh my goodness, a lot of people want to know where the yeah. You get ready. That's fine. Mark the tape all you want. You know the way I was. The shrapnel was flying today, and the abuse I was taking today was utterly ridiculous. Part of me, I'm starting to hope some of your teams, shit the bed come Sunday, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not. I'm going to work through the allergies. I'm going to take a little Zylol 24-hour. We'll be good to go back in the saddle tomorrow. I'll have the fresh roasted. Kiki will be walked and sleeping under my feet. Maybe I'll have the sample of layup before I come on the air. I'm going to see if I can do a little product placement with it. See if I can get that endorsement deal. Maybe I can push product. Have to talk to Chris Smith and J.R. Smith. See if I can get that out there. And might be getting another brand too to come on the show as well, in addition to Get Ready with Tea and of course Three Brooks Bourbon. All right, got to start wrapping up. Good stuff from Nick Costco. You guys always make me laugh. Thanks for hanging for well over an hour. We'll do it again tomorrow, mañana on a Thursday. As always, we're powered by our good friends over at Get Ready with Tea, Three Brooks Bourbon, and of course fresh roasted. I am not. I believe we will be doing remote. We will be doing a remote out west, and then we got the basketball on Saturday and Sunday, brother. So definitely I'll be doing most likely the West Coast on a Friday night, bro. How many markers does de facto have for all these tapes marked? Yeah, it's unbelievable. He's like a child. That's exactly. You know who he reminds me of? The kid in Caddyshack. Remember? Spalding, right? He wants the hot dog. He wants the hamburger. You'll get nothing in like it. Like he wants everything. He wants everything. All the tapes marked. Everything. All the tapes have to be marked by de facto. Not happening. Not happening. All right, 5 o'clock straight up on the East Coast. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Rich Q on Q. Don't forget IG and X, and of course TikTok Rich Q on the mic. You guys have a wonderful Sports Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of the baseball today. We'll get in heavy to the football tomorrow. We'll do some predictions with Lloyd as well. We'll start to look ahead to Week 1. Obviously, we will preview Game 1 tomorrow night. The Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs, against the Dallas Cowboys. We'll go through the lines, our predictions and thoughts, and of course, divisional winners, Super Bowl matchups. And we want to hear from you guys as well. There are a lot of receipts that you need to hold on to. That's fine, because I can tell you right now, they are going to bite you in the fanny come football time. Which, oh, by the way, for the Bunker Boys starts tomorrow night, right around 8:10 in Philadelphia. All right, you guys have a very good Sports Wednesday. We'll do it again tomorrow. As always, hasta luego, buen día.